Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. The Winnipeg Police Service released the findings of Project Surge, an initiative aimed at addressing youth violence. The service found that many of the youths they identified and arrested were repeatedly involved in police incidents. APTN's Sierra Bettens has more.
During a board meeting Friday, the Winnipeg Police Service released a report on Project Surge, tackling youth violence in the city. The report said the same 117 youth were arrested 435 times and were suspects or victims in 1,795 police incidents since 2023.
And even though there's 117, there's a whole, I would say the vast majority of those youth are only peripheral engagements.
These incidents included missing persons reports, serious assaults, weapons offenses, and some homicides. 519 of the 1,795 incidents happened after March 7, 2024, when the project was launched. Winnipeg Police Superintendent Dave Delisle is in charge of Project Surge. He says even though the same 117 youth kept showing up in the study, the number doing the most serious crimes was lower.
If we look at the youth within Surge who are creating the most harm in the community, the most violent, the most incidents, there are 30.
In spite of the numbers, Delisle says there's a light at the end of the tunnel if the whole community works together.
What that gives us an opportunity to do is go to government and say, it's not a problem that can't be achieved. There's 30 kids that we need to focus on to make a significant impact on youth crime in the community and get them on the right path because they need supports. They are victimized over and over again themselves.
Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
We have more now on a story we reported earlier this week where RCMP confirmed that a woman from the Norway House Cree Nation in northern Manitoba was found seriously injured after being held against her will for almost 3 days. The woman, who we are not naming, was airlifted to Winnipeg with life-changing injuries last Saturday. 31-year-old Russell York and 32-year-old Stephanie Anderson Papakinis were arrested and charged with aggravated assault and forcible confinement. 3 men and 2 women were arrested on the Norway House Cree Nation Friday. They are in custody. RCMP are still looking for 2 more suspects. In the spring of 2015, 2 fishermen drowned on the Bay of Quinte in southeastern Ontario. Police claim the pair were stealing fish, overloaded their boat, and caused it to sink. APTN Investigates journalist Kenneth Jackson has spent the last year uncovering new information that changes that narrative. And as a direct result, the Chief Coroner of Ontario has personally taken over the investigation. Here's a preview for Secrets of the Bay, Chapter 3.
If this would have happened anywhere other than the reserve, everything would have been done properly. It seemed like they wanted to hurry up, get it done and over with, and close the book, and blame everything on my brother and Ty.
You see here, 11 minutes and 25 seconds. That's how much effort and time they put into recording the evidence of that boat.
The coroner wrote in there that the fish were carefully examined.
Yeah, I can take that out because I don't think that's true.
I can see somebody missing them once, well, how do they miss them 2 or 3 times?
We're hoping that we can get any kind of information from it, any evidence that we can prove our boys did not just drown.
Something doesn't make sense with how that boat went down the way it did.
So the police theory is the boys swamped their boat with too much weight in it and it went down flat. There's no way they swamped and went down. And the police never tested the theory, we just did. What do you think?
someone did it.
It had to have been somebody.
It's going to be a good one. You can watch APTN Investigates Secret of the Bay, Chapter 3, immediately following the APTN National News here tonight. Tens of thousands of people have died from overdoses in Canada, and despite the preventative measures being put in place, the numbers continue to rise. And for one man, the loss of so many of his friends to the deadly crisis inspired him to document the gritty reality of drug use and its toll on first responders. APTN's Tina House has this story, but we must warn you that some of the content in it may be upsetting to some viewers.
Our response has done way more damage so far than COVID has. Overdoses are worse than ever. Last month, there was 170 overdose deaths in the province of British Columbia. This month to also be terrible, and I can tell when I'm down here, sirens are going off all over the place, so there's a lot of people overdosing.
Toxic is a hard-hitting documentary that shines a spotlight on the opioid epidemic that was first declared in 2016. The one-hour-long film was shot, produced, and directed by Robert Colburn.
Change comes through education and understanding, and that's really what this film is designed to do, is to show people what this really looks like through the lens of first responders, healthcare workers, people that are affected by addiction, and the families that are left behind.
Addiction is in every community throughout Canada, United States, worldwide. It's an epidemic. We shouldn't have any person die as a result of addiction. It's completely unacceptable what is happening. We need people to have access to care quickly.
The documentary also features Guy Felicella, who himself was a former addict, but has now become a harm reduction recovery expert, and now dedicates his life to try and help others from risking their lives.
It's the first place that I actually overdosed and died. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Tragically, 14,500 British Columbians have lost their lives in the last 8 years. Government officials are struggling to try and get a handle on the situation.
One of the biggest challenges we face is that the particular needs of this growing group of people is not understood as well as it should be. And that's why I'm here to announce that Dr. Daniel Vigo will be appointed to be BC's Chief Scientific Advisor for Psychiatry, Toxic Drugs, and Concurrent Disorders.
With the appointment of Dr. Vigo, who teaches at UBC and Harvard Medical School, the BC government hopes his expertise will help guide them to finding solutions.
Unlike COVID, which happened overnight and forced an immediate whole-of-society response, this is a simmering crisis, which in the past 10 years grew worse by the day until it became the highest cause of death and disability for youth and adults in all of North America, is now spreading through Europe and will spread globally.
Addiction can affect anyone from all walks of life at any age, and every time they use, they risk getting the deadly fentanyl or carfentanil, which is what's killing people.
I need a hit of the fentanyl every couple hours or I get sick, deathly ill. It's sweat, diarrhea, you can't sleep. There's no way anything anybody says you're fighting with them. Everything is intense right now, needing now, and yet it's killing everybody. We have to really kind of do all facets of treatment and other options. I mean, there's no silver bullet for this thing. We really have to, have access to services, and also to the biggest thing is the education piece, to give people the ability to know it's okay to struggle, but you got to reach out and ask for support and help, right?
And we want to see this film used as an educational tool. I'd like to see it played in high schools around grade 9, because I think it'd be a really valuable tool about understanding how dangerous drugs are in our modern world.
Okay, and you gave him 3 Narcans, right? An
average of 7 people a day are now dying from overdoses in BC. Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
Thanks, Tina. Coming up, oil executives were on the hot seat in Ottawa this week. Details after the break. Welcome back. Oil and gas companies are under fire these days for making record profits, while at the same time increasing greenhouse gas emissions, leading to climate change. Executives of Suncor, Imperial Oil, and Cenovus Energy were taken to task on these issues at a House of Commons Environment Committee. Before the committee meeting, NDP MP Laurel Collins met in Ottawa with both Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples who have been affected by recent wildfires, floods, and extreme temperatures caused by climate change. She asked the CEOs why their companies continue to ask for and receive government subsidies while making record profits.
It is wild to me that when we are facing a climate emergency, we have the people around this virtual table raking in billions of dollars and then coming to the government and asking for more handouts.
Still in Ottawa, after taking 5 years, the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation is going to be part of an Indigenous Peoples Centre in downtown Ottawa. The nation and federal government held a signing ceremony to announce the agreement on Wednesday night. APTN's Fraser Needham has that story.
In the summer of 2019, Verna Paulson went more than a week without food or water to protest the fact the Algonquin Nation had been left out of a new Indigenous Peoples space in Ottawa's parliamentary precinct. This is what the former Grand Chief of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Tribal Council had to say this week.
It's about time. Actually, when I got the text from the ANTC, I was not surprised, but at the same time, it's about time that we actually going to have our dedicated space here in the national capital city on our unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation.
In 2017, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced the former U.S. Embassy building at 100 Wellington would become a designated Indigenous space for the Assembly of First Nations, Métis National Council, and Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami. But the building is on unceded Algonquin territory, and some communities were upset at the lack of inclusion. Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Gary Anasandagri was unable to say why the Algonquins were initially left out or why it took 5 years to reach an agreement. But he did say it is time to move forward.
It's a reminder to us that, Canada needs to listen, right? Canada needs to be in tune and attentive to its failures, really, and to make sure that this, that there are no oversights such as this going forward. We do have a brilliant space, probably one of the most coveted space in the capital, to showcase and to celebrate the Algonquin people.
As part of the new agreement, the Algonquins have been given a vacant lot adjacent to the centre to build a structure of their liking. Current Tribal Council Grand Chief Savannah McGregor says it will take time to determine what this structure will be.
Well, we're going to communicate and go and do vision and exercise with all 11 of our communities of the Algonquin Nation, and really they're going to be driving the direction that they want to see, or what will be in the infill space. So, as I said earlier, we're just as curious as you are, but we're doing this wholeheartedly with all of our membership.
For her part, Paulson says she has no regrets about staging the hunger strike and would do it again.
So that's the kind of leader I was, and I'd never change. I would never change what I've did. But would I do it again? Absolutely, in a heartbeat. I may not be in a leadership role, but I'm always there for our people, regardless of leadership seat or not.
Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final gets underway Saturday night, but Oiler fans are already getting fired up. More on that after the break. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. Clarence Jones captured this hummingbird that stopped long enough to strike a pose on a feeder. Thanks as always, Clarence. You always seem to be ready with your camera and willing to share with us all. This weekend, you too can take a picture and send it to share@aptn.ca to be featured as our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at the soggy Saturday forecast. Starting on the East Coast, showers in 16 for Halifax, rain in 18 in Fredericton, 12 with showers in Kuujjuaq, 9 in Nain, 20 with rain in Montreal, showers in 17 in Val-d'Or, 19 with showers in Sault Ste. Marie, rain, and 20 in North Bay. Showers in Thunder Bay and a high of 20, cloudy, and 19 in Sioux Lookout. Cloudy and 13 for God's Lake, showers and 14 in Norway House. Rain and 21 in Winnipeg, 17 with showers in Dauphin. Some sun in Regina, 21, 19 in showers in Saskatoon, 10 in Meadow Lake, 9 in La Ronge. A soggy day across northern Alberta, 12 with rain and high level in Fort Chip. 8 and showers in Edmonton, 21 in Lethbridge. 22 for Vancouver and Victoria, sunny and 28 in Kamloops. 22 under the sun in Prince George, 25 in Smithers. Sunny and 22 in Old Crow and Whitehorse. 17 with showers in Yellowknife, 18 in Norman Wells. 11 in Saxe Harbor, rain and 13 for Paulatuck. 9 in Chesterfield, 10 in Baker Lake. +1 with snow in Resolute and Joe Haven. A Métis icon was honored with a street naming ceremony in Winnipeg on Friday. Ray St. Germain sang his heart out to a crowd of friends, family, and Métis community members celebrating his achievements. Our reporter Sav Jonesa was there.
With his wife Glory at his side, 83-year-old Ray St. Germain was honored by the renaming of his childhood street. The house that the Canadian icon grew up in, built by his father, now resides on Big Sky Country Way, named after St. Germain's long-running, award-winning show.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming down. What a wonderful pleasure. I didn't expect it to be this big. I really didn't. So many friends, so many relatives. Thank you so much for everything.
Known as Winnipeg's Elvis, St. Germain's legacy is one of musical artistry, Métis pride, and as a celebrated on-air personality of television and radio shows. Naomi Clark was St. Germain's co-host for 20 years on the radio show Métis Hour ×2.
He's got such a big heart. He's a beautiful person. He embraces you, and once he calls you friend, you know that's going to be a friendship for life.
She says St. Germain is a Métis trailblazer.
He was writing music that talked about the Métis community way before it was cool to talk about the Métis community. And, you know, he's, like I said, he's been a trailblazer for so many musicians and just so many Métis to show their pride and be able to come out of the shadows, so to speak, and talk about their unique and rich history, right, as Métis people.
Before leaving, the soft-spoken St. Germain wowed the crowd the same way he has for over 6 decades. He sang his heart out. Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Awesome stuff. Glad they got the ceremony in. Well, about 100 Edmonton Oiler fans gathered at a rally hosted by superfan Magoo in Edmonton recently to celebrate the teams reaching the Stanley Cup Finals against the Florida Panthers. APTN's Chris Stewart was there and took in the festivities.
The Belmont Sobeys in Edmonton's Ward Dene hosted a loud and family-friendly Oilers rally organized by superfan Magoo. After starting the NHL season with a poor record, a coaching change now has the team within the reach of the Stanley Cup. A Canadian team hasn't won the Cup since the Montreal Canadiens in 1993. And superfan Magoo says the American media saying the Panthers will win is providing more motivation for the team.
And here we are against Florida, and all the sports analysis counting us out again. We love that, man. Let's go, underdogs, let's go.
Free hot dogs, pop, and chocolate bars had a huge lineup. DJs and 3D scanning of fans helped make the event special. Nippy Esquayu says he remembers the last time a Canadian team won the Cup.
I remember being a little girl watching the Stanley Cup finals with my dad, and I was just a little girl. So to see this come back to our city and just to see our city come alive again is such a beautiful thing.
Lillian Hine is a massive Oilers fan. She expects a tough series.
I think the Oilers are going to go all the way, and we're going to win the Stanley Cup. McDavid needs to bring it home, just like Wayne Gretzky did.
Casey Bird is excited for the opening puck drop.
I'm here to support superfan Magoo, and I'm here because everybody's going to be supporting Edmonton Oilers. It's all about the Oilers.
Superfan Magoo doesn't do game predictions, but had a thought on the most valuable player race.
As long as we win the Stanley Cup, our MVP is going to be the whole team, because there's no I in team. But if Skinner keeps playing the way he does and he wins the Cup for us, there'll be 3 players that have a shot at it: McDavid, Draisaitl, or Skinner.
We want the Cup! We want the Cup! We want the Cup! We want the Cup!
A 50-vehicle convoy left the rally and drove around the city to spread the love the city has for their Edmonton Oilers. Game 1 is scheduled for Saturday evening. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
I feel like superfan Magoo would cut a pretty good wrestling promo. He's something on the mic. Well, even this Leafs fan has hopped on the Oilers bandwagon. Excited for the game tomorrow night. Also excited for APTN Investigates tonight. Remember, you can watch Secrets of the Bay, Chapter 3, right here in less than 2 minutes' time. And for news anytime, visit our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy McGuitch, thanks for being with us. Have a great night.